With interest rates so low, you've got to refinance. The question is, do you refinance to a 30-year loan, or if you're on a 30, do you switch to a 15? Ooh, I will help you take that next wise step in your life. Thanks for being here today. This is Monday's video, next wise step video for you, coming to you from my office. My name is Mike Bernard. I am the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners doing comprehensive financial planning right here at Korhorn Financial Group. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, smash that thumbs up button, because right now people are wondering, what do I do with my mortgage? Interest rates have absolutely plummeted. Now, what does that mean for mortgage rates? They dropped quickly as well, but then all this demand came up for refinancing, and then of course the Fed is manipulating their balance sheet, and so we've actually seen mortgage rates sort of go back up a little bit. Now they're not way back up, but they're not as low as I expected them to be. Let me say that. All right, so you're trying to take your next wise step in your financial life, and let's say you've either got unemployment going on and it's meeting all the bills, or you're still working and so it's meeting all the bills, and you're looking at your mortgage saying, gosh, is there a way that I can improve my financial life here? I'm at, an interest rate that's 4.5%, and I could switch to a 30 or a 15-year loan down in the mid 2%. What should I do? Or do I stay with a 30-year? So first and foremost, you've got to make this decision in the context of all 6 areas of your financial life. Because if you're trying to figure out what you should do with your mortgage, but you've got to deal with credit card debt, or you're not saving the right amount for retirement, or you've got some other issues going on in your financial life, you can't have those be a blind spot. You've got to look in the context of your entire financial life to see, where does this issue with refinancing the mortgage fit? Once you have that clarity, I then like the rule of thumb as a guide, not a rule, but as a guide to say, well, if you can save 1% off of your interest rate, then it's worth it. It's worth it to look at refinancing, okay? Now, you need to look and say, will I still be in this house? Will I still have this mortgage in 3 to 5 years? Can I qualify for the loan and those sorts of things? But assuming all those answers are yes, should you refinance? I like the guide being, well, am I gonna save 1%? Now, let's bring it to today's question. Do you refinance and stay with a 30, or do you switch to a 15 because you're getting a lower interest rate and so on? Well, I personally believe that you should try to have options in your financial life. When you've got choices to make, and say you've got, you can either do this or do that. If they're pretty close, I'd always pick the one where you have more choice, more option, that you're not locked in, okay? And I actually apply that financial principle to as many areas of my life as I can. Make decisions where you're still gonna have lots of choice so that you're able to adapt if you need to, as opposed to making a choice where, okay, once I've made that commitment, it's pretty rigid. I can't get out of it. I can't adapt if I need to. And so, if your income sources are very strong, they're very reliable, and even an extended coronavirus recession, or another flare-up in the fall to the coronavirus, or whatever, that's not going to impact your income sources, and you've done their budget, and you can easily make a 15-year mortgage refinance work, and still have enough margin in your financial life, then the question is really, well, would you rather pay on this mortgage for 30 years or 15? And I'd always take 15. Always take 15. Yeah, absolutely. But if going with a 15-year loan means now my payment's a lot higher, and my income sources, they're not as reliable as I hoped, and it doesn't leave me with a lot of margin in my financial life, I'd have to use all my margin to pay on that 15-year loan, I wouldn't refinance to a 15-year loan. I'd stay with a 30-year loan and just pay extra. Why? Because if all of a sudden your income adjusts and you need to adapt, a 30-year loan, what you're locked into is that lower payment. you can always pay extra, and then if you need to adapt, just reduce what you're paying down to that normal rate. Guys, we eat our own cooking here at Core Horn Financial Group. There isn't anything I'd recommend to a client that I wouldn't do myself. That's what I'm doing. I have still had a longer term mortgage, and I'm just paying extra on it so that I can flex if I need to. Now, I absolutely could refinance into a shorter term loan at a slightly lower interest rate, but then my flexibility goes away. So right now, don't just look at it and say, well, it's a 15 years at a lower interest rate, that's the best idea for me. If staying with a 30-year gives you more flexibility, and yeah, it's slightly higher interest rate, but if it gives you more flexibility, stick with the 30-year and just pay extra on it. Make a 15-year payment on that 30-year, but you just maintain the flexibility that if your situation needs to change, then you can do so very, very easily. So once again, I'd make that decision in the context of all areas of your financial life. I've seen a lot of people who have looked at paying more on their mortgage when they're not saving the right amount for retirement. I've had people pay extra on their mortgage or look at refinancing when they're not setting money aside for their next vehicle, meaning they'll do a car loan at 4.5%, but they want to pay down a mortgage at 2.5%. So you've got to look at this in the context of all 6 areas of your financial life. But if it makes sense, you've got to do something with your mortgage. You look at rates and you say, boy, I'm going to save at least 1% on either of these. I can qualify for the loan, and I'm going to have this mortgage for a while, right? I'm not going to pay it off quickly, and I'm not going to move quickly. Then, by doing a 15-year loan, does it box you in? Does it lock you too much in that higher payment where you don't have the flexibility in your financial life? If it doesn't, if you still have great flexibility, refinance to that 15-year and don't even question it. Go for it. But if doing so makes your financial life a little too rigid, calculate what that 15-year interest rate would be, refinance to the 30-year, but pay it at a higher rate where the thing's going to get paid off in 15 years. So if you need clarity and confidence in your financial life, if you're wondering, hey, how does that refinance idea fit with everything else going on in my financial life, you've got to talk to your CFP. You've got to talk to your certified financial planner, and they've got to know what is all happening in your financial life. They need to know what you're saying no to for tax planning strategies in order to say yes to this, or what you're saying no to in the area of investments or getting ready for retirement in order to say yes to this. So contact your CFP who's doing comprehensive financial planning, and as always, if you don't have that person in your life, you can certainly contact our team. We can't serve everyone, but we'd love to help you if you think we'd be a good fit. You can find us online, corehorn.com, that's Corehorn with a K, or you can send us an email, info@corehorn.com. All right, you're now ready. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.